There are places on this earth that the world tried to forget. Places where governments looked away, where families stopped asking questions, where the darkness was so complete that even the people responsible pretended it never happened. But it did happen. All of it. And the evidence is still there. These are 5 of those places. 5 real locations. 5 histories that were meant to disappear. They did not disappear.
The Catacombs of Paris. Beneath the streets of Paris, 6 million people are buried. Not in graves, not in coffins. Their bones are stacked in tunnels. Walls of skulls, floors of femurs, ceiling-high arrangements of human remains stretching for nearly 200 miles directly beneath one of the most visited cities on Earth, the Catacombs of Paris. In the late 1700s, Paris had a problem. The city's cemeteries were overflowing. Bodies were piled so high that the walls of cemeteries were collapsing into the streets. Disease was spreading. The city needed a solution. They found one underground. Over a period of years, the bones of 6 million Parisians were moved underground. They were arranged carefully, stacked with a kind of terrible artistry.
In 1990, a maintenance worker in the catacombs discovered something strange. A video camera, sitting on the ground in a tunnel, far from any official entrance, far from any marked path. The camera had footage on it. The footage showed a man. He was alone. He was moving through the tunnels with a flashlight. The tunnels went on and on. He moved deeper. The footage showed him beginning to run. The tunnels looked the same in every direction. He was lost. The camera fell. The footage ended. The man was never found. His identity was never established. The footage still exists. You can watch it today. The official catacombs are open to tourists. You can walk through a small section of them. You can see the bones. You can read the plaques. But the official section is a tiny fraction of the total tunnels. The rest go on for nearly 200 miles. And somewhere down there, in the dark, with 6 million sets of bones, something is still running.
Unit 731. In 1936, the Japanese Imperial Army built a facility in Manchuria, China. From the outside, it looked like nothing unusual. A complex of buildings, surrounded by walls, in a remote area. The local population was told it was a water purification plant. It was not a water purification plant. It was Unit 731, and what happened inside those walls remains one of the darkest chapters in modern history. Unit 731 was a covert biological and chemical warfare research unit. The scientists inside were not experimenting on animals. They were experimenting on human beings. Prisoners of war, Chinese civilians, people taken from the streets. The experiments had no medical purpose. They were designed to test what the human body could survive and what it could not. Subjects were infected with plague, cholera, typhoid. They were left untreated so researchers could observe the progression. They were exposed to extreme cold. Their limbs were frozen and then thawed over and over to study frostbite damage. They were placed in pressure chambers. They were subjected to weapons testing, all while alive. At least 3,000 people died inside Unit 731. Some historians believe the number is far higher.
When the war ended in 1945, the Japanese army attempted to destroy the facility. They demolished what they could. They killed the remaining test subjects. They burned the records. But they could not destroy everything. The buildings were too large, the evidence was too widespread, and the researchers were never prosecuted. The United States government made a deal. In exchange for the research data, the scientists of Unit 731 received immunity. Their findings were classified. Their crimes were buried. For decades, the official position was that Unit 731 did not exist. Today, the facility in Harbin, China is a museum. You can walk through the same rooms. You can see the same corridors. You can stand in the places where those things happened. The museum receives hundreds of thousands of visitors every year. Most of them leave in silence.
The Sallie House. In Atchison, Kansas, there is a small two-story house on a quiet street. It looks completely ordinary. White walls, normal windows, a front porch. The kind of house you would pass without looking twice. In 1993, a young couple moved in, Tony and Deborah Pickman. They had a newborn baby. They were happy. The house was affordable. Everything seemed fine. For the first few weeks. Then, the temperature in the baby's room began to drop. Not gradually, suddenly, without explanation. The family's cats refused to enter certain rooms. They would stand at the doorways, fur raised, staring at something that was not there. Small fires began to start in the house, randomly, without cause. A stuffed animal in the baby's room would be found arranged in a circle every morning, no matter how many times they moved it. But it was Tony who experienced the worst of it. Scratch marks began to appear on his body. Not small scratches, deep gouges, appearing while he was sitting still, while he was sleeping, while he was watched by other people. The scratches would form patterns. Investigators were called.
Cameras were set up throughout the house. The scratches were captured on video, appearing on Tony's skin in real time, with nobody near him. No explanation was ever found. Parapsychologists who investigated the house believed the entity responsible was not a ghost. It was something older. Something that had been in that house long before the house was built. Local history suggested that the land had once been the site of a doctor's office. A doctor who performed procedures on young children. Procedures that went wrong. The Pickmans eventually left. They could not stay. The house has had multiple owners since. None of them have stayed long. The house is still there today, on the same quiet street, looking completely ordinary from the outside. The Dragon's Triangle. Most people have heard of the Bermuda Triangle, the patch of ocean in the Atlantic where ships and planes disappear. But fewer people know that on the exact opposite side of the world, there is another one. The Dragon's Triangle, also called the Devil's Sea, a stretch of ocean near the Philippine Sea, south of Tokyo, Japan. For centuries, sailors reported strange experiences in this region. Compasses spinning without cause, engines failing without explanation, entire ships vanishing without a single piece of debris ever found. The Japanese government grew concerned. In 1952, they sent a research vessel into the area, the Kaio Maru No. 5, a ship with a crew of 31 people. Scientists, researchers, naval officers. Their mission was to investigate the disappearances, to find a rational explanation. The ship entered the Dragon's Triangle. It never came back. No wreckage was ever found. No bodies, no debris, no radio transmission.
31 people simply gone. The following year, the Japanese government made an official declaration.
The Dragon's Triangle was designated a danger zone. All research was suspended. The area was abandoned. The official scientific explanation involves underwater volcanoes. The seabed in this region is among the most geologically active on Earth. Methane hydrate deposits beneath the ocean floor can release suddenly, reducing the density of the water, causing ships to sink instantly. That is the scientific explanation. It does not explain the compass failures. It does not explain why no wreckage is ever found. It does not explain why the disappearances happen in the same specific area again and again and again. The Dragon's Triangle is still there. Ships still cross it every day. Most of them make it through. Most of them.
The Highway of Tears. Highway 16. A 2-lane road cutting through the mountains and forests of British Columbia, Canada. 724 kilometers of asphalt, connecting small towns through some of the most remote wilderness in North America. It looks like any other highway. But since 1969, women have been disappearing from this road. Not occasionally, regularly, consistently, year after year after year. The official count is 18 confirmed victims. Indigenous organizations place the real number at over 40, possibly much higher. Many of the disappearances were never properly investigated. Many of the missing were Indigenous women. Their cases were given low priority. Some were not investigated at all. The pattern is always the same. A woman is seen at a bus stop, or walking along the highway, or hitchhiking between towns because there is no public transportation. Because in these remote communities, hitchhiking is not a choice. It is a necessity. And then, she is gone. No witnesses. No evidence.
No arrests in the vast majority of cases. Local communities have placed signs along the highway, photographs of the missing, names, dates. The signs stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Face after face after face. In 2019, the Canadian government released a report. It stated that the violence against Indigenous women in Canada constituted genocide. That word, genocide, used officially in a government document for a highway in Canada, in living memory. The Highway of Tears is still there. Highway 16 still runs through those mountains. Women still travel it today because they have no other option. And the faces on those signs are still waiting for answers that have not come.
5 places, 5 stories that powerful people tried to erase. A man lost beneath 6 million dead. A facility where humanity was forgotten completely. A house where something that has no name still leaves its marks. An ocean that swallowed 31 people and gave nothing back. And a highway where women are still disappearing while the world looks away. These are not ghost stories. These are history. And history does not disappear just because we stop looking at it. Subscribe for a new case every week. And remember, some of the darkest places are not abandoned buildings. Some of them are hiding in plain sight.